Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do here. He said on several instances he wanted something different, but it's like I said, it's just me hanging out. I really don't feel like giving you anything different if this is what you're going to give me. Furthermore, I don't really feel like coming out of nowhere. Especially when nobody's reached out to me. Especially when nobody's reached out to me. Especially when nobody's reached out to me now that I have the paperwork I need. I'm not arguing about these motherfuckers. I promise you want to fight, you got it. So, you want to fight, you've got it. I'm not going to stop. So, I think I've won this battle. I'm not going to stop. I promise you. Get the fuck off my goddamn property. Now. I guess I will get in your face. I'm sure somebody will. We'll start off with Halo. I mean, it's pretty easy to go to Facebook or YouTube and look at it. Furthermore, you would have already known about it. If he knows about it, you know about it. Dead End Company, you got it. A little too much. Well, maybe every time I wake up, here's some dumbass. Maybe you should have fixed the damage from the beginning, before doing it. It's like, no, John Mayer probably is actually playing that. However, you know, not to devalue anybody. See, now you're getting into the point where I can't be a fan. You know what I mean? This is what you've done with this arc. And you're not fixing the damage. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Now, here I come. Here I come. Causing a storm. Here I come. Me and my crown. Here I come. You didn't want to listen the first time, since you want to act like a bitch the first time. Not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. No, this isn't other fish in the sea. I didn't want to. The time frame there, the mentality. It's really not appreciated at all. And I assure you, it's because some other dumb fuck who's sitting there dragging you away. I assure you, I'm sitting there watching it. So because of this, and you act on your own accord. Because of this, and you act on your own accord, and I have the power here, not you. Okay, so these guys are going to jail, and I'm not interested. So I'm filing charges on America. Charges on a country. We're going to go here to my mutiny bill. We're going to go to every other country that I would own on the planet. So I'm filing charges on this fucking country. Hi, how are you? I'm not putting up with this shit at all. I'm not listening to a single thing a single one of them have to say. I promise you there's not a single person get up on the stage to tell me anything right now. You have my money, right? Ladies, like, what's up? I really don't want to be an ass to you, but no, I'm not saying hi to you, motherfucker. So the girls in the past that I've already slept with, you can come to me now. You know what I mean? I'm not arguing either. So the problem I'm having with you, motherfucker, really, no, really, I'm not arguing about it. Be a complete ass. They can come my way. I promise you can leave the other motherfuckers. Or I can just drop bombs on you and end this right now. That's why. That's why. Open your mouth to me one more goddamn time. Because I'm the one in charge. That's why. So the girls need to come my way instead of taunting me. Every time you taunt me, it's going to be another charge. I want to press charges. It's very simple, dude. With paperwork. Here it is, presented. The one that you're using. I'll admonish you of all duties. Get the fuck off my property. Here's my patents. The ownership of. The deed. Thank you. I believe a drill was mentioned amongst other things. I promise you, motherfucker, I'm that angry. So those girls can come my way. You can go ahead and drop everything. I mean everything. And I mean everything. Oh, I assure you it's going to be just like that. We're going to go Mormon. Okay, go. Don't listen to me. Be an ass about it. Now you're done. I don't know why you're smiling. This is the problem I'm having here. I don't know why they're smiling. No, you're going to drop everything. And I mean everything. Over here. Over here with my name that you're using. Stay silent. Every time you open your mouth at me, it's going to be another charge. You understand me? I'm not arguing about it. So I'm pressing charges on an entire fucking nation, you fraud. I'm not listening to a word you have to say, you piece of shit. Go ahead and keep talking. Every time you open your mouth at me, I promise you. Put up with your shit long enough. Excuse me, George. I think I riled him up too. He gets in there too and puts you in your place. We talk about that, so. I believe you would go against the foundation of the country. That's what he mentioned. And I don't know why you're there to begin with. And all you're doing is causing problems and stealing. I'm not arguing about it. If you want to fight, you got to fight. I will win this battle. Go ahead and remove the moron choice. They think it's a joke. It is not a joke at all.
So I was shooed, and so I guess I'll continue this with George. Try to get the gotta get a low level tonight. Everybody's sleeping, quiet as a mouse, but I'm gonna do it. It was a pretty good killing frenzy there. That last round, I didn't expect that at all, especially with the flag in hand. Me and him were going at it. Alright, so we'll make our round here with David.
Okay.
Chapter 7 of Ecclesiastes.
Thanks, appreciate it.
A good name is better than a precious ointment in the day of death.
No, thanks.
It is better to go to the house
so
of
the girls in
mourning
the
to go to the house
past.
of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay to its heart.
So they need to drop everything. And I mean everything.
Is in the house of the mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke.
I think it's a joke. I can drop a bomb on you and end it.
Fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also
I
is
appreciate
vanity.
you out there.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
Oh, I'm more than mad. I promise
better
you.
is the end of a thing
in this life and the next.
And the patient in spirit is better
Go
than
ahead.
the proud in spirit. Be
So
not
they can
hasty
drop
in the
everything.
spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom
The
of
answer
fools.
was yes.
Say
Goodbye.
not thou, what is the cause that the former days are better than these?
That
For
sucks
thou
that
dost not
the.
inquire wisely concerning this.
You have my money,
Wisdom
right?
is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit.
Oh,
to
that's
them
what it
that see
took?
The sun.
Okay.
For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is the wisdom that giveth life to
You
them
can have
that have
this.
it. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider. God also hath set
rustic.
the one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. Be not righteous overmuch, neither make thyself overwise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? It is good that thou shouldest take hold of this, yea, also from this withdraw not thine hand. For he that feareth God shall come forth to them all. Wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Also take no heed unto all words that are spoken, lest thou hear thy servant curse thee. For oftentimes
Checkpoint.
also thine own heart knoweth that thou thyself likewise hast cursed others. All this have I proved wisdom. I said I would be wise, but it was far from me. That which is far off and exceeding deep, who can find it out? I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account. Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright, but they have sought out.
I think I was asking. I think it was funny.
To Edmund Piddleton.
Okay.
Philadelphia, January 22nd, 1795. Dear Sir, from a long acquaintance with and a sincere regard for you, I always feel pleasure in hearing from you, and of you, consequently your letter of the 30th, result with an acceptable annuity. Notwithstanding you have passed your 73rd year, whilst you enjoy tolerable health and retain your faculties in the vigor they are, I wish as well on public as on private account that length of days may be added to those which you have already numbered. A month from this day, if I live to see the completion of it, will place me on the wrong, perhaps it would be better to say on the advanced, side of my grand climacteric, and although I had no cause to complain of the want of health, I can religiously aver that no man was ever more tired of public life, or more devoutly wished for retirement than I do. I hope and I believe that the spirit of anarchy in the western counties of the state, to quell which the force of the Union was called for, has entirely subdued, and although to effect it, the community has been saddled with a considerable expense, yet I trust no money could have been more advantageously expended, both as it respects the internal peace and welfare of this country, and the impression it will make on others. The spirit with which the militia turned out in support of the Constitution and the laws of our country, at the same time that it does.
Quit trying to instill a wave there. Get off the account now. I promise you're dead.
Been given in the assertion.
I'm about to come there and whoop your fucking ass, motherfucker.
And the prediction of others.
Get off the account now.
That without the protection
you're
of
under arrest. I will shoot you.
We should be unable to govern ourselves.
Nigger, I assure you, you are under arrest. I assure you, I will come down there and kill you, motherfucker. Get off the account.
Is not the phantom
now.
Of imagination. On the contrary,
they think it's a joke. They are being excused. I assure you.
Under no form of government will laws be better supported, liberty and property better secured, or happiness be more.
We don't get out now.
To mankind. The successes of our army to the westward has already been productive of good consequences.
A clone wave there.
They have dispelled a cloud which rode very heavily in the northern
hemisphere. Get the fuck out. We're not kidding.
And though we have received no direct
quit using my tax dollars
since November, there is reason to believe that the Indians.
I promise you don't comply with me. I'll light your ass up.
At war in the quarter, together with their.
That's why.
Begin to see
heart monitor.
From a different point of view.
That's why.
Effect these
you fucking retard.
On the Southern Indians,
the little failsafe that they have
at this moment to decide.
Just in case anything happens to them.
I accord fully in my opinion with you.
So you're under arrest. If you don't comply with me, we will shoot you.
With other measures is not the best mode of treating ignorant savages, from whose hostile conduct we experience much distress. But it is not to be overlooked that they, in turn, are not without serious causes of complaint. From the
negative.
Which
the right to remain silent.
Our people, who are not to
it's
be
period.
By any law.
You're not arguing.
Being or liking
look up. Can you look up for me? I'm not arguing about it.
Had no press through which their grievances are related, and it is well known that when one side only
I'm not
perceives
arguing
heard
about
and
it.
often repeated, the human mind becomes impressed with it insensibly. The annual presents, however, which you allude to, are not given so much with a view to purchase peace as by way of retribution for injuries, not otherwise to be redressed. These people are very much
Fraud.
irritated by the continual pressure of land speculators and settlers on one hand, and by the impositions of unauthorized and unprincipled traders who rob them in a manner of their hunting on the other. Nothing but the strong arm of the Union, or in other words, energetic
There we
laws, can
go. The
correct
strong
these
arm.
abuses. But here, jealousies and prejudices, from which I apprehend more fatal consequences to this government than from
Call your buddy up.
source, aided by local situations and perhaps by
I'm not backing off.
considerations,
We'll see who wins
always
this.
oppose themselves to efficient measures. My communications to Congress at the last and present session, I have proceeded upon similar ideas and those expressed in your letter, namely to make fair treaties with the savage tribes. By this I mean that they shall perfectly understand every article and clause of them from correct and repeated interpretations, that these treaties shall be held sacred, and the infractors on either side punished exemplarily, and to furnish them plentifully with goods under wholesome regulations, without aiming at higher prices than is adequate to cover the costs and charges. If measures like these were adopted, we might hope to live in peace and amity with these borderers, but not whilst our citizens, in violation of law and justice, are guilty of the offenses I have mentioned, and are carrying on unauthorized expeditions against them, and when for the most atrocious murders, even if those of whom we have the least cause of complaint, a jury on the frontiers can hardly be got to listen to a charge, much less to convict a culprit. The madness of the European
we've already named
powers
names.
and the
Thank you, though.
calamitous situation into which all of them are thrown by the present ruinous war ought to be a serious warning to us to avoid a similar catastrophe. As long as we can, with honor and justice to our national character, what would be the result of Mr. J's mission is more than I am able, at this moment, to disclose.
It's as good
Charge as he has been
Thank
with
you.
all matters in dispute between two countries, not as has been insinuated in some of the gazettes, merely to that of spoliation. It may easily be conceived that there would be a large field of discussion, but upon what principle, except that of piracy, to account for the conduct of the Bermudian privateers at this stage of the negotiation is beyond my comprehension on any fair ground of conjecture, as it must swell the bill with very great esteem and regard. I am.
Yeah, every time.
So the treaty in this pyramid, to William Pierce, the Bermudas, you can see it. Philadelphia, January 25th, 1795. Mr. Pierce, since my last of this day week, I have received your letters of the 11th and 18th instants, with the weekly reports and an account of sundry payments, and the recounts, therefore, the latter, that is, the vouchers, I did not wish to have had sent. It would have been time enough to exhibit these when I come home and settle the accounts regularly. All I wanted for the present, or rather for the past
But they're
year,
not.
was
That's the
a
thing.
general account.
I'm good.
Of all
Nah,
the
it's
monies
too
you
late.
had
Don't
received
come to
and
me, I
paid
assure
from
you.
the time of your taking charge of the business up to
Nah,
the
don't
close
come
of
to
the
me.
year.
It's cool.
1794, comprehending there is an overseer's wages.
I'll be seeing you.
And whatever belonged properly to
Should
that
have thought
year,
about it.
that I might have a view of the receipts and expenditures, therefore that I might see
I can't
how
wait
was
to break
going
that
on.
neck. Really.
In looking over your account,
And that would have been
current and
nice.
comparing it with the Miller's receipt, I find an error of
So this
946
douchebag right
to
here
your disadvantage. That
probably
is,
should
you
not
have
have done
charged
that.
me with 22.18.
And you're really not doing anything
cash
special
paid
here.
him,
Other than
whereas
strong
by his
arming
receipt,
other
it appears
people.
that he had got from you
So-
32.26 cash. and
Again, either they can
acknowledges
come my way or you can
to
eat
have
shit, and I'm not
received
interested.
The first named sum in other
Again,
articles.
the ones in the... Because that's the way
I'm
I want
sorry to
it.
find
That's
that the fire
why.
has fallen so considerably for the little I had made with ready for
You
market
can.
and disposed of.
The
But
exact
as there
spot,
is no
you know, that'd be
reason
great.
that
Go
I
ahead and
can
get that
proceed
over
for
with.
this great fall, knowing that the wheat
That would be
crop last year
great.
was extremely
Get that over
short
with.
in all the states of the Union, which raised the grain for exportation.
Let 'em
I had
know.
no doubt of the price being up again, possibly not so
Hey,
high
you
before
shouldn't
the
have
warm
done
weather,
that.
when it must be sold at any
Today
rate
is
for
not your
fear of
day.
spoiling. How does, or did, whilst the ground was uncovered, your early wheat look? I was unlucky in my growth of it last year. Dr. Stewart had a good return for what he sowed, and Colonel Ball a very great one. I wish there might not have been some imposition on me the year before last in the seed. Of this I entertained some suspicion when you informed me last harvest that it appeared to be very little forwarder in ripening the common wheat. Does or did your crops
I'm
of
getting
wheat
this out of
continue to
here.
look well before the snow
done with
fell?
you.
And your grass lots and meadows also? I did not. How does the treading
Okay,
plow,
so-
soar, and the new barn and dog run answer? Having tried in now both wheat and oats, you must be enabled to decide whether it is more expeditious mode than to tread on the ground or not. That is more clean and safe if the lower door is always kept locked, which it ought to be except when the fan is at work. Can admit, if of no doubt. I approve of your idea of putting the little old field at the ferry into corn and laying it down with the wheat and clover. From the length of time it has lain out, it ought to produce well. If there is any part to clear, do not deprive it of all the wood. Either leave it single trees or clumps. Indeed, I wish
we're not
I would,
interested.
without always
Can you stop doing
giving
that?
particular directions, have this attend to.
So
as a
she's gonna
general
come my
rule.
way.
It is always in one's power to
End of
cut a tree
discussion.
down, but time only places them where one would have them after the guard is stripped of them.
And then some.
We're about to cut our tree down here. The gardener may go on with
And
his
then
nursery
some.
and be told
Get
that
friendly.
he shall be allowed the fifth of what are sold or raised. Although Bishop should never have wanted victuals or clothes while he lived, yet his
Okay,
death cannot
no.
be cause of regret even to his daughter, to whom from his imbecility of age, if not when he died, he soon must have become very troublesome
This
to
is why
her
you're getting
and
blocked.
a burden to all around him. I never saw Donaldson's son, but from what you have said respecting him, I am very willing to allow him his victuals and coarse clothing, but ascertain the quantum and sort of both in writing, to prevent mistakes
In
and
writing?
grumbling
That
hereafter.
was
I
not a
am always
mistake.
ready and
You're not
willing
gonna
to fulfill every
bogart
engagement I
anything.
enter into.
You're not bogarting anything. I see what you're doing.
Excuse me. I think I blocked.
I've been down that road before. Nuh-uh. No, sir. The plague? Maybe it's...
Capture the flag.
Everybody starts slandering
I'm
everybody.
in writing to prevent mistakes and grumbling hereafter. I am always ready and willing to fulfill every engagement I enter into, and hating disputes. I wish always that contracts may be clearly understood.
I feel like that's the
For this
the
reason,
foreign
also, it is
language.
necessary he should know that the boy must work duly and truly. And whilst I am on this subject, I would repeat my expectation that he will take pains to teach those who work
Yeah.
with him, especially Isaac and the boy Jim, in the principles of the several kinds of work they are employed in. Particularly carts, wheels, plows, harrows, wheelbarrows, and such kinds of implements are used about a farm or dwelling house. I just told my dad I wanted to teach him how to play magic. I would also have him caution against an error which I have felt no small inconvenience from, and that is that rather the persevere in doing things right themselves than being at the trouble of making others do the like. They will
Okay.
fall into the slovenly mode of executing work which is practiced by those among whom they are. I have experienced this not only from European tradesmen,
This is
but
what they
from
do when they
farmers
protest.
also who have
And they're not
come
getting what they
evenly.
want, so... Hold on. They think they're bringing in the big dogs. No, that's a bot, dude. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not hearing it. You can record whatever you want. You're not trusted individuals, and you're being excused, so... I promise you when a push comes to shove, and he also touches into that with paperwork and the reason why. He gives you a reason why. So, with paperwork, again, with my name on it. Yeah, they think it's a joke. It is not.
And from none in a greater degree than from Mr. Whiting and one Bloxham who preceded him. And though perfectly acquainted with every part of a farmer's business, and peculiarly so the latter I mean in the management and use of oxen for the cart or plow, double or single, with yokes or with harness, yet finding it a little troublesome to instruct the negroes, and to compel them to the practice of his modes, he slid into theirs, and at length, which I adduce as a proof, instead of using a proper flails for threshing the grain, I have found my people at this work with hoop poles and other things that's similar thereto. I am glad to find you are engaged in so useful and desirable a work as that of filling up gullies in the fields that are coming
Dude,
into
it's
cultivation.
like you're making it more of a
Nothing
problem
could
than
be
it
more
is.
beneficial on the farms than this. But where they
how
are
many
deep,
acres?
use old trees, stumps, stones, broken rails, and such things for the bottom. Otherwise, the quantity of litter and leaves which would be required would be immense. I served number 5 at the Union Farm in this manner, where a gully was almost across the whole field in which a horse might have been hid, and where at this day I believe there's scarcely any trace of it.
Neutral bomb.
I think it not unlikely that French Will is in Maryland when he was guilty of these tricks. Formerly, before I had him, his walks and harboring place was, as I have been informed, somewhere within the circle of Broad Creek, Bladensburg, and Upper Marlborough. The precise spot I do not know, nor it worthwhile, except for the sake of example, nor for that if it stops with him, to be at much trouble or at any expense over a trifle to hunt him up.
Or not. Or you can pay me.
Let the gardener know that I will endeavor to procure the seeds he would vote for, but tell him at the same time that he must endeavor to save seeds for himself. Besides the high prices of seeds in the shops in the city, he knows from the experience of those I have heretofore sent him from hence that they are not to be relied on. Get from him all the seed of the Saint Thorn, which he saved last year,
you
and
left your
planted
mark, buddy.
the
Good job.
best
I'm just trying to play a
advantage you
game. I don't
can
need all
the
that. Thank
ensuing
you.
spring for the purpose of raising seed. I'm extremely anxious to raise all the seed I can from this plant. It must not be planted where hares can get to it. They're so fond of it, it is not allowed to rise the seed. With the trees where were sent by Mr. Lear last spring, or from hence, I am not sure which, was sent you
negative.
first seed, as also kale or coal seed. Let these also be made the most of, as well as the other grass seeds which were saved from the plants in the vineyard, and from those in the little garden by the salt house, and etc. The books you have will tell when to sow. 50 or 60 bushels of oats.
Decompression period. Get them out.
Be more than enough to save for my
Can we
horses.
get a
The first
large
trip I shall
group
make
and
to
drag
Mount
them out of their
Vernon after the
homes?
rising of Congress, and by the time that the second trip is made, the new crop will be harvested or on the point of it. Yet to make the matter sure, as the second trip will consume 200 or 300 bushels in all probability. Put by 100 bushels for my use, after which sell all you can spare, reserving enough of the best for seed and for such other uses as you know they will be wanted for. I do not know what ground except number 7 at Dog Run you mean to sow with oats next spring, but have no doubt you will take care to put in enough. This induces me to ask whether, as the fairy people will have the field of mansion house to tend in corn, as well as number 1 at home, it would not be well to put the little old field at that farm, if it could be fenced and well prepared in time, into oats and clover this spring, as to let it go into corn, and then into wheat and clover in the fall. The oats would answer for the horses as well as the corn, whilst the clover would be sooner fit for use. But in this do as you like best. If Mr. L. Washington is indebted for fish, the charge, I presume, is on the fish account, and where that is I know not at present. I wish you well, etc. I just ate fish, you know.
He's telling me to
P.S.
switch sides on the
What things were sent
garden.
to Mount Vernon when the
And
mare
don't plant it
colt,
over
which
on the,
Austin
next
Road
to
was
the,
carried there. And among them was there to bundle
Trash
for
that keeps
Mrs.
being blown
Eller.
out into my
Eller.
yard from other people. I don't know what that is.
Chapter 8 of Ecclesiastes. Hold on. What's the next one? Oh, excuse me. Chapter 8. Who is the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man with wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I counsel thee to keep King's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of God. Be not hasty to go out of his sight. Stand not in an evil thing, for he doeth whatsoever pleaseth in him. Where the word of king is, there is power, and who may say unto him, What dost thou? Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. Because to every purpose there is
We're not
time
really
and
feeling it. I
judgment.
think I might go to
Therefore the
Magic.
measure of a man is great upon him. For he knoweth not that which shall be, for who can tell him when it shall be? There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. And there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. All this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own heart. And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place to the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is only also vanity. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
I can come down there.
The heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to
Do what
evil.
you do.
Though
You
a
can get the
sinner
fuck
do evil
out.
100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall they prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God. There
I
is
can come
a
down
vanity
there if you'd
which
like.
is done upon the earth, that there are just men, unto whom it happeneth according to the work of the wicked again.
So
There be
you
wicked
should
men,
probably
to whom
remove
it happeneth
them.
according to the work of the righteous. I said
You were
that
probably
this
the biggest
also was
mistake. You can
vanity.
get the fuck out. There you
Then
go.
I commendeth mirth, because a man hath no better thing under
You
the
can
sun
drag them out.
than to drink
They're fired.
and be merry. For that
Press
shall
charges
abide
on
with him
them.
of his labor the days of his life, which God giveth him under the sun. When I applied my heart to
No,
knowledge,
you're like the
I
least
perceived
like. That was a big
that was
mistake.
done
You
upon
shouldn't
the
have done
earth.
that.
For also there is that neither day nor night.
In fact, you're hated.
seeth sleep with his eyes. Then I behold all the work of
Shut
God,
up, you can
and
remove
I
them
cannot
now.
find the work
I want
that
them
is done
out.
under the sun.
They no
Because
longer
though a
have
man
jobs.
labor to seek
I
it
assure you,
out,
we talk
yet he
about that
shall
later.
not find it.
We're not kidding.
Yeah, further, through a wise man think to know it, yet shall he not be able to find it.
Oh, you can see the motion too. That's how I know that they're connected to it. Okay, arrest them. This is why. The radio wave that they have attached down there, the CV, I want it all removed. No, we talk about it. They're being removed. They're under arrest. If they make a false move, they will be shot.
Okay, so this
The
is
radio
a
wave
shot.
that they
I
had
don't know where we're
attached
at.
to my
It's
body
clear
and their
here.
body,
I can't-
remove
I
it.
can't- I don't
Arrest
know
them.
the titles here.
It's using my goddamn initials.
Radharnaika. He's trying to stretch the. I think
Co-conspirator.
Barrage. I need to.
I'm not arguing with you.
Here. That would be beneficial. I guess that would be the original though. So
It starts
kinda-
blinking. The Blink 182
need to
there. We need to
practice
get them out. I'm not kidding.
I think
That's
that's
the
the
enemy.
point of that. Brock.
Enemy of the state. I am the owner of the property. Get the fuck off of it. Now.
Get that
Now.
flow going.
I'm not arguing with you, motherfucker. I know you like to be violent, but I will be violent too.
The third form
I hate to be that
and
guy.
fifth form.
I don't
So
need
this
you anymore.
prana
Thanks.
barrage
We've
is
got
divided
it.
in 3 ways. His head is the easiest, and
Put
his
up with
arm-
your shit
so
long
we can
enough.
do this.
You're
He
not
that
gonna be doing that
performs
job.
self-differentiated
Thank you.
Or divided himself, his body, and organs in 3 ways. How
I
making
assure
it
you every time is another charge.
respect to fire and air. The verbs
Both
and
sides
modes
here.
Supplied.
Both
and
of
air,
you.
the third
Stay
form,
silent.
respect to fire and sun. Similarly, we must.
So, we
understand
need
that
outside
fire, the
sources
third
to
form,
remove these
respect to air
idiots.
And the sun. For this also can equally make up the number 3. But how do we know that it's fire? Who made this up?
Co-conspirator.
You're a little too fresh. So this prana Viraj, although the self, as it were, of all beings, is specially divided by himself as death in 3 ways as fire, air, and the sun, without however destroying his own form of Viraj. Now the meditation on this fire, the firstborn Viraj, the archon, fit for use in the horse, sacrifice, and kindled in it, is being described. Like that on the horse. We have already said that the previous account of its origins is all first eulogy, indicating that it is of such pure birth. His head is the east, both being the most important, and his arms, that, the northeast and southeast. The word Irma, arm, is derived from
Idiot.
the verb
No.
motion.
Okay, get them
And
out.
his hind
They
part
need to be
is
removed
west, because
they're
it
under
points to
arrest.
that direction when he faces the east. His hip bones, that, the northwest and southwest, both forming angles with the back. His sides, the south and north, both being so related to the east and west. His back, heaven, his belly, the sky, as in the case of the horse, and his breast, this earth, both being underneath. He, this fire, consisting of the worlds, or Prajapati, rests on water. Further Suchi says, thus do these worlds lie in water. He gets a resting place wherever he goes. Who? Who knows that fire rests on water? Thus, as described here, this is subsidiary result. He desired, let me have a second form. He, death or hunger brought about. The union of speech, the Vedas, with the mind. What was the seed there became the year of Viraj. Beforehand there had been no year. He, death, reared him for as long as the year, and at
Go to magic. I feel like it would be more appropriate. I can tell they're being pushy. I don't know why they're there to begin with. I'm just waiting. Truly, you are not getting out of this. So we can go ahead and go down there. We can go ahead and go down there, place them in cuffs, remove them. Girls, you can come my way. You are dropping everything. I'm just waiting on you. Over here I have my deed for the business opportunity at hand. I definitely am not going to do it here. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, you made a mistake. Lesson about choices here. I don't really need to go into further detail, seeing as you're harassing me through a screen on video. Before I was ever born. This is why. No, right over here. See, you're going to drop everything. No, not a joke. If you want past me, whenever you go up into that big bright sky, I promise you're dropping everything. From my perspective, you're going to do exactly what I tell you to do. Whether you like it or not. Even then, I'll probably beat the shit out of you. Either way, you made a choice. It was a choice. Stay silent. So, they can drop every little thing that they're doing. I promise you, you will regret it otherwise. So, all these grown men think they're going to stand up and going to do something about it. All them weightlifters. As I drop a bomb on him, you know what I mean? You're not getting out of it. Yeah, definitely. So, one of those things, the ones that were already there, they're dropping everything. So, everything. Just so we're clear here, if they went past me in that pearly gate in the heavens, I don't like talking about it, it's odd. It's everything. They're not coming. We'll go ahead and do a blood transfusion. We'll go ahead and do a blood transfusion. They think it's a joke, it isn't. You really shouldn't have done that. And I mean really shouldn't have done it. Anyway, I'll allow you to continue as I get that out of my system. I believe I'm being told to go to magic. Hold on. They're being that much of a bitch. Also, I can go to the bot. I think is what it was. The cheating, I don't have to deal with the cheat.
After this period projected him. When he was born, death opened his mouth to swallow him. He, the babe, cried, "Bah!" That became speech. It has been stated that death in the order of water and the rest manifested himself in the cosmic egg as the virage, or fire possessed of a body and organs, and divided himself in three ways. Now by what process did he manifest himself? This is being answered. He, death, desired, let me have a second form or body, through which I may become embodied. Having desired thus, he brought about the union of speech, or the Vedas, with the mind that had already appeared. In other words, he reflected on the Vedas, that is, the order of creation, and joined in them with his mind. Who did it? Death characterized by hunger. It has been said that hunger is death. The text refers to him lest someone else, Viraj, be understood. What was the seed?
I'm
the
just not
cosmic
feeling
origin
it.
of Viraj, the first embodied
Bad
being,
vibe.
is the knowledge and resultant at work,
Incredibly
accumulated in
bad
past
vibe.
life, which death visualized in his reflection on the Vedas. There, in that union, became the year, the Prajapati of that name, who makes
They can
the
sit here and
year.
come up with whatever reason
Death,
it is.
herein
I don't like you, period.
Yakarba, absorbed in those
So they can
thoughts,
come my
projected
way and
water,
drop all of
entered
it.
as a seed and transformed into the embryo. The cosmic game
Yeah, it's
became
just like
the
that.
year. Before him, the Viraj, who became the year.
It's just like
there had
that.
been no year, no period of that name. Death reared him, this Viraj, who was in embryo for as long as a year. The well-known duration of time among us, i.e. for a year. What did he do for that? And after this period, i.e. a year, projected him, i.e. broke the egg. When he, the babe, fire, the first embodied being, was born, death opened his mouth to swallow him, because he was hungry. He, the babe, being frightened, as he was possessed of natural ignorance, cried, "Ban," made this sound that became speech or word. Aradi, 1323. The gardens of eternity which they will enter along with the righteous among their parents, spouses, and descendants, and the angels will enter upon them every gate, saying, Peace be upon you for your perseverance. How excellent is the ultimate abode. And those who violate Allah's covenant after it has been affirmed, break whatever ties Allah has ordained to be maintained, and spread corruption in the land. It is they who will be condemned and will have the worst abode. Allah gives abundant or limited provisions to whoever He wills, and the disbelievers become prideful of the pleasures of this worldly life. But the life of this world compared to the hereafter is nothing but a fleeting enjoyment. The disbelievers say, if only a sign could be sent down to him from his Lord. Say, O Prophet, indeed Allah leads to stray whoever He wills and guides to Himself whoever turns to Him. Those who believe and whose hearts find comfort in the remembrance of Allah. Surely in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find comfort. Those who believe and do good, for them will be bliss and an honorable destination. And so we have sent you, O Prophet, to a community like we did with earlier communities, so that you may recite to them what we have revealed to you. Yet they deny the most compassionate. Say, He is my Lord, there is no God worthy of worship except Him. In Him I put my trust, and to Him I turn in repentance. If there were a recitation that would cause mountains to move, or the earth to split, or the dead to speak, it would have been this Quran. But all matters by Allah's will. Have the believers not yet realized that had Allah willed, He could have guided all of humanity? And disasters will continue to afflict the disbelievers or strike close to their homes for their misdeeds until Allah's promise comes to pass. Surely Allah never fails to His promise. Other messengers had already been ridiculed before you, but I delayed the disbelievers for a while, then seized them, and how horrible was my punishment. Is there any equal to the vigilant one who knows that every soul commits? Yet the pagans have associated others with Allah in worship. Say, O Prophet, name them, or do you mean to inform him of something he does not know on the earth? Or are these gods just empty words? In fact, the disbelievers' falsehood has been made so appealing to them that they have been turned away from the path, and whoever Allah leads astray will be left from their guide. For them is punishment in this worldly life, but the punishment of the hereafter is surely far worse, and none can shield them from Allah. The description of the paradise promised to the righteous is that under it river flows. Eternal is its fruits as well as shade. That is the ultimate outcome for the righteous, but the outcome for the disbelievers is the fire. The believers among those who were given to the scripture rejoice at what has been revealed to you, O Prophet, while some disbelieving factions deny a portion of it. Say, I have only been commanded to worship Allah, associated none with Him in worship. To Him I invite all, and to Him is my return. And so we have revealed it as an authority in Arabic, and if you were to follow their desires after all the knowledge that has come to you, there would be none to protect or shield you from Allah. Let's just finish this. We have certainly sent messengers before you, O Prophet, and blessed them with wives and offspring. It was not for any messenger to bring a sign without Allah's permission. Every destined matter has a set time. Allah eliminates and confirms what He wills, and with Him is the master record. Whether we show you, O Prophet, some of what we threaten them with, or cause you to die before that, your duty is only to deliver the message. Judgment is for us. Do they not see that we gradually reduce their land from its borders? Allah decides, none can reverse the decision, and He is swift in reckoning. Those disbelievers before them secretly plan, but Allah has the ultimate plan. He knows what every soul commits, and the disbelievers will soon know who will have the ultimate outcome. The disbelievers say, You, Muhammad, are no messenger. Say, O Prophet, Allah is sufficient as a witness between me and you, as it is whoever has knowledge of the scripture. Okay, so moving on here. The Buddhist wisdom. Seizing the advantage. A crocodile wishing to get a monkey's heart for his life entices a monkey onto his back. But at the critical time, the monkey persuades him that he left his heart in a tree and escapes when land is approached. He who does not attend quickly to the advantage that is present goes under the power of foes. He regrets it in the future. He who does attend quickly to the advantage that is present is set free from all enemies. He has no regret in the future. Not all growth is advantageous. A goose warns a tree god that a banyan sapling that was taking hold in its home would eventually destroy it. The warning was ignored, and the tree succumbed. That growth is not praised by the virtuous, which when grown consume what is prospering, suspecting it may be an obstacle. The wise try to destroy it at the root. A cheat is cheated in return. Someone stole some plowshares, and when questioned said that mice had taken them away. In return, his accuser carried off the thief's son and said a hawk had done it. This is the Bodhisattva comment and solution to the problem. I don't relate. This treachery is well devised, is well thought out.
Oh yeah,
This
that's it.
fraudulence is but a snare laid in return. If mice
Yeah, I'm
are able to carry
confused.
off a
Yeah,
plowshare, why is it that a
okay.
hawk can't carry off a bullet?
I'm not arguing with you at all. Being asked about it.
There will be fraud upon fraud for the fraudulent. There will be cheating in return for
You know what I
he
mean?
who
Not
cheats.
asking.
The one who lost the child should give back the plowshare. The one who lost the plowshare must give back the child. Keeping quiet. A merchant used to dress his donkey up like a lion to scare away the villagers while it was eating, until one time the donkey gave the game away. For a long, long time the donkey may have eaten grass and barley, while disguised with a lion skin, but he spoiled it all by brain. More than gentle persuasion is sometimes necessary. A goat tries with kind words to persuade a panther not to attack and eat her. The panther, however, didn't listen and got his prey.
Oh, excuse me.
There is no reason or truth or well-spoken words in the wicked. Enjoy the wicked, but in them the virtuous will take no delight. A limit to one's duties. A queen is neglected by the king who lets her starve. To chastise the king, the Bodhisattva spoke these verses which led to the king repenting. Reverence to the reverent, honor the honorable. She should do her duty to one doing his duty.
The king, hold
but
on.
But she need not do good to one wishing her harm. No one need love those who do not love in return. The Queen of Sheba. She. She should abandon the one who abandons her. She need not love the one who is devoid of thought. A bird, knowing that a tree is devoid of fruit, can seek out another tree in this great wide world. The necessity for effort. The Bodhisattva is nearly lost at sea, but through his courageous and determined effort makes it to land again. Later he reflects on his success. Sometimes the unthought of occurs, and what is well thought out will fail. Happiness does not come through thought. When faculties wane. A vulture who had been stealing things in the city is captured and brought before the king, and the following dialogue takes place. Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I get it. It's like, okay, that roadblock, there's no need, you know what I mean?
I need kill cards. What I need.
So many things to say there. Just don't do that. You gotta eat, I know that. You're talking about something different, though. You're talking about the faculties, when faculties wane. I know what you're talking about. They get robbed and stuff. I don't know what to tell you. I don't relate to that, you know what I mean? The rebellion there. It's the roadblock, you know? I don't know what to tell you. Sitting there, beat your ass over. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm playing Magic, you know. We're playing Magic, boys. I put down a killing frenzy for Washington there last round. It felt pretty good. Hope everything's all right. I don't know what to tell you. Why, when a vulture sees corpses more than 100 leagues away, did you not see the net and snare? See, I just don't understand. When a creature isn't inclined and life is coming to an end, he does not see the net and snare. Craving brings suffering. The story is of Sapavasa.
Oh, is that your trash out there in my yard? Oh, really? Why are you doing
carried
that?
her children for 7 years and took
All right,
7
buddy.
days to bear him. Still, she desired more children. Isis and the 7 scorpions.
That's the one I don't have.
That's what this is. Isis? Avasa would be Isis. Asatam. Satarapuni. Piropunya. I can't pronounce it. The ugly having a beautiful form. It does sound good. The unlovely having a lovely form. The painful having the form of a pleasure will overcome the one who is heedless. Dakham Sukasa Rupina Pamatam Atavatiya. Suitability. Through a stratagem, a sneeze wins a bride and a kingdom for a prince. But a Brahmin who sneezes loses his nose. That which is good for one may be that which is bad for another. There is nothing completely good. There is nothing completely bad. A name is just a name. In the story of a man called Wicked, hates his name, so he is advised to search for a new one. He comes across Life, who had just died. Wealthy, who was poor, and Guide, who was lost in a forest. Then he realized the name is just a name, nothing more. Seeing Life lying dead, Wealthy in poverty, and Guide lost in the wood, Wicked came home again. The impermanence of desire. A negligent queen gets reborn as a worm, and is made by the Bodhisattva to speak to her grieving king, who when who when he hears about her love for the new husband abandons his grief. The pleasure and pain of past lives are forgotten in the new life. Therefore a worm appears to me better than good King Asaka. Lack of insight. The Buddha describes the loathsomeness of the body and concludes the discourse with these verses. A person must take care of the emperor body, which is full of corpses oozing from here and there. Having such a body, who could be conceited or disparaged another? Those who lack of insight. Comparing oneself with others. The group of 6 monks chase off the group of 17 monks and take their rooms. The Buddha lays down a rule and speaks the following verse. Everyone trembles at the stick. Everyone is in fear of death. Comparing oneself with others, one should not hurt or have them hurt. The desire for happiness. As the Buddha goes on his alms round, as he sees a group of boys tormenting a snake for fun, he admonishes them with this verse. One who harms with a stick beings, who also desires happiness, while seeking happiness himself, won't find happiness after death. Virtue and learning. The Bodhisattva wishes to find out which is more important, virtue or learning. It takes a coin a day from the king until on the 3rd day he is arrested. He then understands which is most valued in the world. Birth and beauty are delusions. Virtue is supreme, it is said. For one unendowed with virtue, there is no value in learning. To the Commissioners of the District of Columbia, Philadelphia, January 28th, 1795. Gentlemen, a plan for the establishment of a university in the federal city has frequently been the subject of conversation, but in what manner it is proposed to commence this important institution, on how extensive a scale, the means by which it is to be effected, how it is to be supported, or what progress is made in it, are matters altogether unknown to me. It has always been a source of serious reflection and sincere regret with me that the youth of the United States should be sent to foreign countries for the purpose of education. Although there are doubtless many under these circumstances who escape the danger of contracting principles unfriendly to Republican government, yet we ought to deprecate the hazard attending the ardent and susceptible minds from being too strongly and too early prepossessed in favor of other political systems before they are capable of appreciating their own. For this reason, I have greatly wished to see a plan adopted by which the arts, sciences, and belles letters could be taught in their fullest extent, thereby embracing all the advantage of European tuition with the means of acquiring the liberal knowledge which is necessary to qualify our citizens for the exigencies of public as well as private life, and which with me is a consideration of great magnitude, by assembling the youth from the different parts of this rising public, contributing from their intercourse and interchange of information to the removal of the prejudices which might perhaps sometimes arise from local circumstances. The federal city, from its centrality and the advantages which in other respects it must have any other place in the U states, ought to be preferred as a proper site for such a university. And if a plan can be adopted upon a scale as extensive as I have described, and the execution of it shall commence under favorable auspices in a reasonable time with a fair prospect of success, I will grant in perpetuity 50 shares in the navigation of Potomac River towards endowment of it. What annuity will arise from these 50 shares when the navigation is in full operation can at this time be only conjectured, and those who are acquainted with the nature of it can form as good a judgment as myself. As the design of this university has assumed no form with which I am acquainted, and as I am equally ignorant who the persons are that I have taken or are disposed to take the maturation of the plan upon themselves, I have been at a loss to whom I should make this communication of my intentions. There's my name right here. If the commissioners of the federal city have any particular agency in bringing the matter forward, then the information I know to give to them is in proper course. If, on the other hand, they have no more to do in it than others who may be desirous of seeing so important a measure carried into effect, they will be so good as to excuse my using them as a medium for disclosing these intentions. For as much as it appears necessary that the funds for the establishment and support of the institution should be known to the promoters of it, and because I saw no mode more eligible of making known mine, for these reasons I give you the trouble of this address and the assurance of being gentlemen and C. I appreciate you. To William Pierce, Philadelphia, February 1st, 1795. We'll have a birthday. You're right on my birthday? I appreciate the break, the pause. Took a break. You and yours. The intentions? Well, I mean, what do you mean? There's no intention here. The same intention as any other person. What do you mean? Furthermore, you want to talk about death. They're scared of death. And it's like, okay, we've went through this. So everybody's going to die at some point. Like, it's unavoidable, you know what I mean? The essence of. I mean, that's essentially what it would be, what I was talking about. It's like all the different strains would be the DNA of all the dying trees. But I mean, like I said, you're thinking of like wartime. That's what I made it seem like. I mean, that's what's going on right now, the talk of war. But I mean, I was also talking about like the hospitals and stuff. Everybody dying. Yeah, dying of old age. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? So it would happen regardless. And that's where the healing aspect comes from. It's like a diluted version of the root of a recycling center, if you will. The seed, the root, the mind's a beautiful thing as you get into it. You have to think like the pressure as you go down the line. So many things to talk about. To William Pierce, Philadelphia 1st, 1795. Before we get into this, let me cough in your face. Let me blow this in your face. Be an ass about it. Our opinion have changed on this matter. Manure will help you there. All the mountain dwellers. Excuse me for a second. It is a little dusty, I'll give you that, George. Mr. Pierce. Consumption, the food. The problem about that is like a good rhythm there. Kind of time consuming, and it's more expensive. You know what I mean? Mr. Pierce, I write to you this week more for the sake to letting you know that your letter of the 25th of 2 with the reports came safe, than because I have anything to communicate that is in my degree material. I have no doubt of cedar making a good hedge, but I have very great ones of your getting them to live when transplanted. The clones. Oh, hold on. I'm jumping ahead of you. That should be easy. And if they should not, your labor as well as the plants will be lost. I feel like that's one of the easier things. I mean, I definitely see it, but there are various opinions as to the proper season for removing these trees. Some say spring, some say autumn, and others insist upon it at midsummer. October is the proper season. I never succeeded in eating tolerably until I removed them in a deep frost. There you go. The draft is in the District of Columbia Letters and Papers in the Library of Congress on January 30th, Washington, in answer to Hamilton's note of that day wrote, the eventual power which you applied for is herewith sent. Let the day of your resignation be made perfectly convenient to yourself. There is no necessity that your successor should be named on Monday next. This note is entered in the letter book. Hamilton had written that he would be obliged to hold back his resignation as Secretary of the Treasury until I put him to shame, in order to sign some papers and in, of course, preparation, but it will reach the President in time to admit of a nomination on that day of a successor, if the President thinks fit. Hamilton's letter is entered in the letter book in the Washington papers. So you were being impatient. You wanted to go ahead and pick the flower right then and there. Yeah, October I believe is the proper maturity time to pick them. See, we have better tools. They have a magnifying glass where they can zoom in on it, and they're looking down on the exact crystal. And so what they do is it needs to be amberish. That's when it's ripe. And I mean, like, as a general consensus, it's not just like one or two, but like, you know what I mean? You could even further it, and like a more mature plant is gonna be purple. That's where the purple comes from. Again, the manure. You get manure from a higher elevation. It's gonna have more nutrients, especially if like they have cycles in that area where they're established. You're like me. I had to be quick about it. See, that was the for outdoor. That was the goal. We just didn't have enough time. Indoor would be like a 3 month. You know, in order to keep operations going. But I mean, I don't believe you have that. As far as my knowledge is concerned. So your outdoors are definitely plump, nice and ripe. Probably a good stone too, like nice and like a full head and body. You know what I mean? The whole 9 yards. You're not missing anything there. Deep frost with the block of frozen earth, hard bound by the frost to the roots.
I'm the perfect choice for this job.
In this manner, few or none will be lost, but in all probability, the winter is too far spent for the adoption of this mode of transplanting them. My opinion is that any trees or shrubs that will bear to stand close together without injuring each other will do for partition, fences against horses, cattle, and even sheep, but that nothing short of a close rail fence or stone wall is secure against hogs. This, among other reasons, has made me anxious to try, as an experiment at least, to raise these animals in sties from pigs. It is happy for old Betty and her children and friends that she has taken off the stage. Her life must have been miserable to herself and troublesome to all those around her. I am, etc. To the Secretary of the Treasury, Sunday, February 1st, 1795. It's wanting to go naturally now. Ow, now, brown cow. Dear Sir, I received the enclosed letter with the document therein last night. For reasons which appear obvious, I make you acquainted with the contents of them being yours. Excuse me. Pigsty, tell me to clean up. There's a little bit of dust. To Alexander Hamilton, Philadelphia, February 2nd, 1795. Dear Sir, after so long experience of your public services, I am naturally led at this moment of your departure from office, which it has always been my wish to prevent, to review. At this point, Conway's printed text has, it has succeeded well where tried. From the Hamilton papers in the Library of Congress, on the address sheet Hamilton has endorsed. This covered a letter from Mr. Cox of the 31st of January, 1795, contains a charge against Mr. Wolcott for my having committed to him and he having exercised the duties of Secretary of the Treasury in my absence on the Western expedition. A.H. Ha 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 ha. Then, in every relation which you have borne to me, I have found that my confidence in your talents, exertions, and integrity has been well placed. I the more freely render this testimony of my approbation, because I speak from opportunities of information which cannot deceive me, and which furnish satisfactory proof of your title to public regard. My most earnest wishes for your happiness will attend you in your retirement, and you may assure yourself of sincere esteem, regard, and friendship of, dear sir, your affectionate and CG, your affectionate and CG. To the Senate and the House of Representatives, United States, February 4th, 1795. Gentlemen of the Senate and the House of Representatives, I lay before Congress for the consideration a letter from the Secretary of State upon the subject of a loan which is extremely interesting and urgent. From the Hamilton Papers in the Library of Congress. Hamilton's reply in the Washington papers under date of February 3rd says in part, as often as I may recall the vexations I have endured, your appropriation will be a great and precious consolation. It was not without a struggle that I yielded to the very urgent motives which implied me to relinquish a station in which I could hope to be in any degree instrumental in promoting the success of an administration under your direction. I entreat you to be persuaded not the less for my having been sparing in professions, that I shall never cease to render a just tribute to those eminent and excellent qualities which have been already productive of so many blessings to your country, that you will always have my fervent wishes for your public and personal felicity, that it will be my pride to cultivate a countenance of that esteem, regard, and friendship of which you do me the honor to assure me. On February 2nd, Washington nominated Oliver Wolcott, Jr. as Secretary of the Treasury. The Senate confirmed the nomination February 3rd. Randolph's letter of February 1st, also recorded in the letter book, states that the Secretary of the Treasury reports from an extract of a letter from our commissioners as at Amsterdam conveys the painful intelligence that reliance cannot be had on the success of the measures heretofore taken for procuring the loan there, although all the necessary powers and instructions have been given for carrying into execution the principal object of that law, Act of March 20th, 1794, authorizing a loan of $1 million. I am apprehensive that the business will be stagnated unless the most prompt expedients should be adopted. Congress are the sole authority which can remove the difficulties, and I therefore take the liberty of suggesting the propriety of laying the matter before them. From the letter book, copying the Washington papers. I thank you, George. Give my speech. I'm not prepared for a speech. He feels it'll be saturated. Yes and no, maybe. Does it matter? The pizza place isn't saturated. I don't want to hear it. Repairing eroded fields. You know what I mean? They repair eroded fields? Really? Get down to the logistics here. It's definitely well spoken and well versed. I mean, you could always sit down and write a speech. I definitely could not sit here on the fly and be that well pronounced. And victual. The urgent need. It's definitely urgent. Like we're ready to move forward here. Everybody is, I think. There's one still just sitting there waiting. You know what I mean? They gotta go. I'm not. We're good on that. That's why you don't give them that kind of technology. Especially for the founding father, like when you knew it. Maybe that was the point, I don't know. Everybody, they're trying to drag everybody down. Anyway, so I need this so we can move forward. It's really unfortunate. I had to sit there and like scream at you. The sole proprietor, definitely. I'm like, it's just not even. You know what I mean? To William Pierce, Philadelphia, February 8, 1795. Mr. Pierce, your letter with its enclosures came to my hands as usual by the mail of yesterday. The general accounts, as I mentioned in the late letter, may remain for settlement until my arrival at Mount Vernon and up to the close of the last year. I do not, among the things sent to Mount Vernon by Mrs. Stiles, as in the possession of Austin, see any shirts mentioned. Was it in omission, or were there in non-sent? Some of the articles, I presume, belonged to himself and were designed for his wife, which she may still have if they are known. I had no doubts myself whether the little old field at the ferry couldn't be got in good order in time for oats and clover when I suggested the idea to you. I consent very readily, therefore, to your tending it in corn and laying it down in wheat and clover. What quantity is there of it? That is, how many acres will there be cultivated in the piece? And if there is the least reason to apprehend that the field by the white gates will be wanted for pasture, or cannot be well cultivated, I as readily give this over also, for you will recollect that my constant admonishment has been never to undertake more than you can in the common course of weather and other circumstances. Accomplished well. I agree likewise to the arrangement which you propose with respect to the fields number 1, 3, and 6 at Muddy Hole, and desire that you would at all times suggest any plans which you think may be advantageous, always keeping in mind that immediate profit is not so much an object with me as the restoration of worn out and gullied fields, bringing them in condition to bear grass, reclaiming and laying swamps to meadow, making live fences, especially where hogs are not suffered to run, and ornamenting the grounds about the mansion house. The old clover lot at this place, it is my wish should be planted this year with potatoes, and the poor parts, therefore, as far as your means will extend, to be well manured. You should take care to be advertised in time, and horse and jacks for covering the ensuing season. Let them stand at the same rates they did last year. If they were lower, I might get more mares at them without adding much to the profit, especially as my pastures would be injured, that is to say, eaten bare thereby. I am sorry to hear that your wheat fields have been so thinly covered with snow during the late frost and wet weather. If this should continue to be the case, it is much to be feared that the remainder of this month and the succeeding one will prove very injurious. Herewith are the garden seeds which Ayla wrote for. But tell him that such seeds as he can save, he ought to save. It is shameful gardeners and farmers to find seeds that their own soil and climate will produce after being once furnished. I remain your friend. He wants me to take out JJ. To John Jameson. Let me take out JJ. Hold on. Not what I wanted. Retard, shut up.
Moron, shut up. The answer's no. It's unfortunate you can't compete with this, and that's your only response. Stop threatening me, or I will do it.
You don't like that. Don't do that. It's too late. You already established your end. I'm not establishing anything with you. Me and George here, however. flashing lights and stuff. I guess he wasn't there, but... Okay, so John Jameson, Philadelphia, February 15th, 1795. Dear Sir, your favor of the 30th, all two, has been received, as has been a letter from a gentleman who I presume to your brother, the receipt of which, owing to one cause and another, has never yet been acknowledged. The reason why I delayed to comply with the call upon me for $80 will be explained for the copy of a letter enclosed, which I received from your deceased uncle, Mr. Jameson of York, agreeable to this date. By this, it will appear that the company had money in his hands, besides the profits which might be expected to arise from the labor of the slaves, which appeared then to be in existence. Having never received an iota from the company for more than 20 years, nor never having heard of any appropriation of the sum acknowledged to be in hand, I was in hopes of receiving instead of being called upon to advance. I wished, therefore, to see some statement of this matter, and intended to have requested the favor of your brother to give it to me. But occurrences of a public nature and the pressure of business in which I was continually involved occasioned the postponement of it. He's flashing a light of it from time to time until I forgot the matter altogether, and would have remained in that state had not yet your letter called it in my recollection. Are you done? I have no doubt but that the treasury books will fully and satisfactorily account for the balance which is mentioned in his letter, and would thank you for causing it to be transmitted to me, that I may have some idea of the state of my interest in that concern. I do not mean, however, by this to withhold my quota of the subscription to the canal company until it is received. If you, therefore, will be so good as to pay the $80, which is the amount of it, I will answer your drought at sight when presented in the city. And by the enclosed short missive, I have authorized you to represent me and to guard my. On February 15th, Washington executed a power of attorney to
Sir,
Jameson.
yes, sir.
A press copy of which is in the Washington paper. It reads, I do by these presents constitute and appoint John Jameson, Esquire of Culpeper County in Virginia, to be my attorney for the purpose of representing my interest in the great Dismal Swamp. And I do hereby authorize and empower the said John Jameson to vote in my behalf. All the dogs, that's me, on all questions, John Hancock, BJJ, on all questions which may come before the Dismal Swamp Company, of which I am a member, at any of their meetings, and to act and do for me in all things concerning the same, to the best of his judgment, as he would for himself, except for all sell or mortgage the property, all which votes, accounts, and doings legally performed shall be binding on me. No. I mean, the attorney, however, interest in the Dismal Swamp Company, in which I have an entire share. Permit me, at the same time, to request a favor of you to give me information with who the present proprietors are, the shares or parts of shares each hold, and what the reputed value of a share is. In a word, what one could be bought for or sold at, with any other details which your leisure and an intimate knowledge of the subject may enable you to afford me. Unless a watchful eye is kept upon the timber belonging to the company in the Dismal Swamp, it will be swept away, and a valuable fund sunk thereby. I have no objection to an advance for the purpose of getting it ourselves, presuming the plans, the accomplishment of it will be properly digested, and the execution placed under good management, with very great esteem, etc. So basically, we're planning on this here. This is priority number one. As you flash that light, whatever you're doing there, it's in the brain. To William Pierce, Philadelphia, February 15, 1795. Mr. Pierce, your letter and the reports of the preceding week came duly to hand. It is my earnest wish to have my land on 4 Mile Run resurveyed, and the bounds thereof ascertained, that the pretense of not knowing the lines may no longer be an excuse for the trespasses which are committed thereon to the great diminution of its value. The wood being the more important, as the land is of a mean quality. For the purpose of varying it, it was that I left the papers with you, and more
I was thinking the
than
same
once
thing.
I called your attention to this business. It might be well to agree upon some day with Mr. Washington and others, amongst them a Mr. Tarrant joins, that are knowing to the lines and interests in the business, that it may be effectually done if everything is clear and no difficulties should arise with respect to title or bounds. If these or either of them should happen enter into no agreement, that will be obligatory on me. I attempted, as will appear by some notes among the papers I left with you, to survey this land myself, but having no person with me who was acquainted with the lines, I was unable to find more than 2 or 3 of the corners. A Moses Ball, if living, must have some knowledge of the lines. Mr. Chard also, but as he is interested in this business, and is accused of being a pretty considerable trespasser on the part which adjoins him, if would not be strange if corner and line trees both are cut down, nor very strange if it does not happen from entire ignorance, if he should not endeavor to perplex and mislead thereabouts, as the survey is not in consequence of a lawsuit, and made by order of the court. There is no necessity of employing the county surveyor, unless he possesses more skill than any other who can readily be got, and will do it upon as moderate terms as any other. Do not let my papers go out of your hands, or any copies be taken from them. The surveyor, if he is a man of science, will know that the variation of the compass is, and what allowance to make for it. If any difficulty should arise from the want of the corner and line trees. He buried it right below me. Oh my goodness.
I know what he's talking about. I'm not going to dig or anything, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to do the math on this.
To spare. The crop must have fallen far short of my calculation, or the quantity consumed much greater than I conceived. To reduce the stock on hand so low, from the appearance of them growing, I'd hoped that nearer 4 than 3,000 bushels would have been produced by the several fields and lots which were in this article last year. I am not disposed to take half a crown, that is 2/6, for them yet. They certainly must be hired before the month of April passes off, or they will bear no proportion in price to other grain. I have no objection to your transplanting the young cedars, which grow in the nursery, but not knowing the number there may be of them, I am at a loss to what fence they should be removed. If there was a sufficiency of them to plant them thick enough for a hedge, from the gate which leads into number 1 at Union Farm to the barn along the ditch, and from thence onwards as far as that ditch runs, I should prefer this as a hedge of them. To any other next to this, I should prefer an avenue of them from the mill road up at Union Barn, along the fence on each side. If they are incompetent to this purpose also, perhaps it would be best to make good the hedge with them at River Farm, which is of cedar from the river up to the woods. If they are insufficient for either of these purposes, plant them wherever you think they will answer best. You say that the seed which was sown last year did not come up. In what manner it was prepared and sown, I know not. But if they are not soaked in water or warmed, I suppose would be best, and all the gum or coat that is around them rubbed off, quite to be naked seed, it will be to no purpose to sow them. For without this is done, or they pass through the body of some animal, the gathering of the seed, preparing the ground, and sowing them will
right
be
here in this section right here.
Labor.
Ice cold.
If the lot between the stable and the spring is not well,
right here,
thickly taken with lucerne and entirely free from grass, I wish you would put a heavy harrow with sharp teeth thereon, and it tear the ground in a manner to pieces, without regarding how much the lucerne plant the torn and maimed. In a word, make the top of ground fine and perfectly free from grass and weeds, and then sow it at the rate of 5 pounds of lucerne and the same quantity of red clover to the acre. If none of the former has been saved from that which you grew in the vineyard, let me know your want, and it shall be sent from thence. If the lucerne in the lot I have been speaking off is too thin, or overdone with grass or weeds, I prefer planting it up first, and then harrow it into the most perfect order imaginable before it is sown to the manner before mentioned. If you depend upon me for linen to cloth my negroes, let me know without delay the quantity necessary that it may be sent and done, and let me entreat that proper care and attention may be given to the bacon, to prevent spoiling, and that we may find it good when we come home. Enclosed you will find 2 letters, one from Smith respecting the fishery at Union Farm, and the other from Old Butler. My answer to the first, let open for your perusal before it be sent to him, will be sufficient indication of what will be best for you to say to him on the subject of his application. To the other I have given no answer, but would have you inquire from time to time into his real situation, and afford him such relief as his necessities shall appear to require. I very much appreciate you. The tedious manner in which my properties seem to execute everything they take in hand is extremely to be regretted. They seem, from reports, to have been weeks getting scampering for the sheds at D-Run, when from the idea I had of this work, I presumed a few days would have sufficed. I beg, therefore, that you will make them report how much hewing and how much sawing they perform in the week. One may know then what it is they have really done, and can judge by what is known to be the performance of others. As this season in similar timber and of similar work, I require no more of them than others do, but this I must have by fair means, or by coercion. The first would be vastly more agreeable to me. By the reports I perceive also, for the very everyday Betty Davis works she is laid up to. If she is indulged in this idleness, she will grow worse and worse, for she has a disposition to be one of the most idle creatures upon earth, and it besides one of the most deceitful. I remain, etc. Betty Davis, the dog. Oh, Betty! Every day, the horse, probably. She laid up to you. She likes to lay around, huh? To Robert R. Livingston, Philadelphia, February 16th, 1795. I really appreciate you. Dear sir, I have duly received, hopefully this works out, the plan here. It's like a heist. George Washington coming out of nowhere. Who's this guy? Dear sir, I've duly received your favor of the 4th instant, accompanying the transactions of the Society for Promoting Agricultural Arts and Manufactures, and am very much obliged by your goodness in sending them to me. Works of the sort are of the most interesting importance to every country, and it is much to be regretted that similar societies are not more general in our own, or not more attended in those states
It's not even funny.
where they are established. I shall, the moment I have a little more leisure than the winding up of the present session of Congress will afford me, read your experiments on Lucerne with attention, and I am persuaded I shall do it also with pleasure and edification, as I have long been favorably impressed with the value of that grass, especially if it can be in this country, as in some others, cultivated and broadcast to advantage, thereby saving the expense of labor when it is raised in drills. I take the liberty of sending for your perusal a pamphlet on the cultivation of potatoes from the shoots. It was sent to
they're
me
being
by the
shooed.
author, and
Get
must
out.
speak
Get 'em
for
out.
itself, as I have had no experience myself of the mode there recommended. I mean, however, to make trial of it the ensuing season, for which reason, after you have read the work, I pray you to return it to me, unless you or the society in which you preside shall think it worthy of republication, in which case it may be retained for that purpose, with great esteem, etc. To William Augustine Washington, Philadelphia, February 18th, 1795. My dear sir, I am sorry to find by your letter of the 29th, ultimate which I read yesterday by Mr. Turberville, that my letter of November last had but just got to hand. Had it been received by you in due season, I might have obtained the carpenter I was inquiring after, and could have given you earlier information of the result of my inquiries respecting the schools to the northward. Not doing it, I concluded you had changed your mind with respect to your sons, or that letters directed to you by post was too uncertain to be dependent upon. Excuse me.
Okay, we're gonna stop right there. Someone in the school has entered the building, and they're now trying to teach someone without my knowledge behind the screen. I can tell by the umps there, the pushes, the pokes. I can tell by the pokes. So I mean what I say. It means to get the fuck out. It means to get out. Yeah, we mean what we say. I don't care. Get out. She is not. Goodbye. Let's get them out. I appreciate it. They start, you can tell by the pokes. They start getting all dainty and stuff. Again, with the words there, the lettering. So that needs to be dealt with. I would assume that would be some kind of spy network that shouldn't be there. The rug, dude, get that rug out of there. Please. And thank you. I don't know if that's right. Oh, it is.
We'll go ahead and do it then. I'll go ahead and jump ahead.
You're way too deep. You're way
Chapter
too
9 of
deep.
Ecclesiastes. You're lucky, sir.
Obi-Wan, you're my only hope.
For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them. All things come alike. To all there is one event, to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean and to the unclean, to him that sacrificeth and to him that sacrificeth not. And is the good, so is the sinner, and he that sweareth, as he that feareth an oath. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished, neither have they any more a portion for ever in anything that is done under the sun. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God now accepteth thy works. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife, whom thou lovest all the days of life, thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity, for that is the portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with the might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. This wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and few men within it. And there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. And there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city, yet no
Oh yeah, blew over, did it?
Man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom despised, and his words are not heard. The words of wise men are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. There are 2 private academies in the state of Massachusetts which are highly spoken of. One at Andover and other at Hingham, about 20 miles each from Boston, but in different directions. That at Andover I have been at myself.
So they can
It is
exit
in
the
high,
building.
dry, and pleasant country, and in more of a township than a town, inhabited by respectable and well-disposed people. Schooling, board, washing, and lodging will not much, if any, I am told, exceed $2 a week for each boy.
I think so. I
By the
appreciate it.
constitution of the academy, not more than 60 or 65 scholars, I am not sure which,
Try again.
can be there at a time. With the
Prove
number
you-
at this moment is
disprove
I have
any
not been
theory
able
that you
to
would
learn,
have here.
but one of
Hold
the
on.
senators from the state, living not far from it,
I-
has promised
again
to
here, I
write
don't
for
need to
immediate
listen to you.
information, and to know if boarding can be obtained in a good family. The result of which you shall know if
Go
a
off on my own here.
conveyance by the post, and I know of no other, I will convey it to you. Here. No, dude. Definitely not, but hi. Excuse me? From the letter book, copy in the Washington papers, John question mark Tuberville. No, not at all. No clue what you're talking about. I made up fantasy as far as I'm concerned.
And still they
Oh, he's
do it.
probably in the bedroom.
Still they,
That's
there they go.
disgusting,
You can get them off
Both
the road.
things.
See again.
Oh, you want me to talk about the cabin? I saw 3 things here. Oh, me and Adam, we went exploring out of the old house into the woods, and there was some random cabin. I mean, it was old. It was starting to rot and tear down. I mean, it was real old. It made me, the first thought that I had as soon as I thought it was Abraham Lincoln, I promise you, the first thought, like, is this Abraham Lincoln? I'm not even kidding. Not even. But anyway, I'll move on from that. Writings of Washington. It was like a little. It almost looked like it had a bathroom, like a little toilet. It was crazy. And it had a little. It was right next to a creek and then an open field. And he's talking about it. I know exactly where it is too. I could walk to it. It's in the middle of nowhere in the woods too. I have not been able to obtain quite so accurate information of things to the other academy at Hingham, but understand generally that they are placed on nearly the same ground as Andover, and at the form of the president, a principal director of the school takes in boarders himself. But whether he is full or not, I have not been able to learn. The latter seems to have the preference as a school, and may be on a par in the article of board, for aught I know to the contrary. But I shall be able to inform you more fully after the inquiry which I have mentioned has been made. There's a college at Carlisle in the state of which much is said, but it is in much such a town at Fredericksburg, and liable, I presume, to the objection you have made to the academies in Virginia. That objection does not apply to the northern schools. Order, regularity, and a proper regard to morals in and out of school is there very much attended to, and besides Harvard College near Boston is at hand for the completion of education. If you should prefer it, and is, I am told, in high repute, if whilst I remain in my present situation you should want to make regular remittances to that quarter, there would be no difficulty in doing it if you furnish me with means, with effect, regard I am, etc. Potato culture. I believe that's what he wanted me to post. First of all, why are you doing this? No, dude. You didn't approach me. That's the problem here. I still have to live life with you doing this. No, thank you. I'm gonna approach you the right way, the easy way for everybody here. Yeah, hey, right here, over here. We're gonna do it right here. There it is. Cover that up right there on that circle behind the screen.
I just wanted alone. Here, you were talking.
Oh, yeah, we're not arguing about it either. They're communicating right here in this circle. I know there's my dad took apart the TV, and I know there's a circle they use. I can tell it's right there. Whenever I put the white over it, it covers it up. You have no idea. I can tell. There's energy. They're talking through it. Is what it means. Yo, we're not kidding. Yo, that needs to stop. You did something you shouldn't have done, and now you regret it. But anyway, so we're going to deal with that later. To John Greenwood. Philadelphia, February 20th, 1795. Sir, your last letter with its accompaniment came safe to my hands on Tuesday last. Washington has corrected this word by an erasure and apparently changed it without again reading the context. Oh, I'm hearing you. From a photostat of the original through the kindness of Dr. S.W. Rosenbach of New York City. Enclosed, you will receive $60 in banknotes of the United States, in addition to which I pray you to accept my thanks for the ready attention which you have at all times paid to my requests, and that you will believe to me to be with esteem, etc. To Reverend William Monsell. Philadelphia, February 20th, 1795. Sir, at the moment I acknowledge the receipt of the obliging favor of the 19th of last March, I find it is incumbent on me to apologize for delaying so long to offer you my thanks for the interesting pamphlet you had the goodness to send me on the cultivation of potatoes from the shoots. Your discovery of this mode is novel, and it must be of great utility if it be carried into extensive practice. I shall make trial of it myself the ensuing season, and will recommend it to others to do the next same by laying your experiments before them. It is to be regretted that we have not more agricultural societies established in this country, and it is to be lamented that those which are formed are not sufficiently attended to, but in this, as in other things, we must have a beginning. I pray you to accept my particular thanks for your kind wishes for me, and to accept mine in return. I am, etc. To Israel Shreve, Philadelphia, February 21st, 1795. Sir, your favor of the 7th instance came to my hands yesterday, and this letter will inform you that, as you have acceded to the terms in which I offered you my lands in Fayette County by a letter dated the 14th of January, I now consider the bargain as concluded between us, but there can be no transfer on your part to any other until you are possessed of the legal title and the first payment is made. But this need not restrain you from making conditional arrangements on this head or with the tenants. I will place all the patents and surveys which relate to these lands into the hands of Mr. Ross before he leaves the city, which, if not detained by unforeseen events, will be clearly in next month for the purpose of legalizing the bargain, which henceforward, as I've already declared, I shall consider as binding on us both, and have no doubt of its proving advantageous on your part as lands are rising in price with esteem, etc. Is that what you want me to change? Washington has corrected the words by erasure and apparently changed that without again reading the context. Ross. Yeah. From a photostat of the original through the kindness of Dr. A.S.W. Rosenbach of New York City. So we're going to be changing this. Go ahead and correct this for you. I appreciate you guys.
Follow me, Pom Pom John.
To Robert Lewis, Philadelphia, February 22nd, 1795. Dear sir, your letter of the 17th ultimately came duly to hand, but the pressure of business in which I am always involved whilst Congress are in session has prevented my acknowledging the receipt of it at an earlier date, and now I may not be so full as you might wish, but shall touch upon the several points of your letter and in the order they stand there. If the tenants are not punctual in the discharge of their rents when they become due, distrain for them without delay or hesitation unless their disability to pay proceeds from some provincial interposition or from some other obvious cause which entitles them to indulgence. For it may be dependent upon
It's a little
if the failure
dweeb.
proceeds from idleness. The man who is unable to pay one rent will never pay two.
We get the combo,
Willingly
you know what I
and
mean?
generally, when it goes
It's
beyond
ran
that,
its
the
it's ran its
score is
ground
wiped out.
here.
A relative. I appreciate you. Yeah, I can feel it too. On the pipe, on my head. With respect to the sheriffs, shew them no indulgence. Of all descriptions of men in this country, I thank them, though there may and undoubtedly there are many exceptions. The least entitled to favor I mean to be understood as speaking of under sheriffs and those who farm the office, merely to grind the people and get money into their hands for speculative and other purposes of their own, instead of rendering it where due.
I gotta exit the building now.
I shall
because they start
expect the
speaking.
accounts of all the monies collected and of the arranges as soon as you can make it out, that I may know
I guess they didn't hear
precisely
me?
how the matter stand on this and on the replevy bonds. We're basically kicking you out, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
Mrs. Haney should endeavor to do what she can for herself. This is a duty incumbent on everyone, but you must not let her suffer as she has thrown herself upon me. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. This is real paperwork. Your advances on this account will be allowed always at settlement, and I agree readily to furnish her with provisions, and for the good character you give at her daughter, make the latter at present in my name of a handsome but not costly gown and other things which she may stand mostly in need of. You may charge me also with the worth of your tenement on which she is placed, and where perhaps it is better she would be than at a great distance from your attentions to her. I have already given you ideas
Maybe
with
we'll wait.
respect to
I
the
don't know when
purchasing
it's
of
coming.
leases, but to these I will add that if you can make advantageous bargains, conclude them. As for you,
Get
have
George
means
in
in your
on
own
the,
hands to carry them into effect.
Pre-release.
Beyond this, make them conditionally, only leaving this ratification to me. I'm sorry, I'm fighting back a smile. This is real. Then I may decide from the prospect I have of commanding money, whether to carry them in an execution or not. In conducting this business, there are two things which you should. Elizabeth Hannick, she was a relative and pensioner of Washington's mother and died in April 1796. Her daughter, Sally Ball Haney, was helped up by Washington. I believe that her name is Annie. We're just giving you a general reference here. Never lose sight of. The first is the sum given to purchase in the lease is fixed and certain, and the rent which can be had with the tenant blurred in the press copy is uncertain. To go upon the supposition, therefore, that it will rent for this or the sum is fallacious ground unless there is unequivocal evidence on which to form an opinion. He's arguing if your paperwork works, then this paperwork works because this is the original paperwork that your paperwork is based off of. And I believe the Upanishad has already argued this. The second, he's basically crowning me king right now. This is George Washington. I appreciate you. Second thing is that the rent, whatever it may be, must be more than the will afford, 6 per count interest for the sum advanced for the purchase in addition to the rent. Yeah, we're making it up because of 6 per quart is the legal interest of the U states.
Oh, that's
because
hard.
I'm fighting back a smile. I have a feeling it's you. Secondly, because any person who has money to lend and will adopt the usual modes may obtain much more. And thirdly, because the rent which is received and which I am entitled to without any advance is equivalent.
You're right. I have no argument. However, the mythic, those don't come around very often. And if this new set is about to come out, I really need that mythic wild card. to compete and be at the level that I need to be at. George, if you want to be on prim and proper Optimus Prime here, we need to save the wild card for the next set that's coming out. You know what I mean? We can't half-ass it here. I definitely hear you, and you're not wrong. This debt is owed. I haven't received anything yet, first of all, until I receive it. How about that? So if I receive it, then I'll use my, you know my thoughts on this, so. I think it's more fun that way anyway. Anyway, so. Damn. You put me on the spot there, I'll be honest. You are entitled. Which one are we getting here? I was also going to wait until I did the next segment, seeing as there's only 6 minutes left, but continue.
To a certain principle, for instance, if I was to give £100 for a lease, the rent of which was 6, if I did not receive 12 rent, the deficiency would be lost upon legal ground. Because the land is equal to £6 and the £100 by way of purchase is equal to 100 more, but those who possess money can turn it, where they are disposed to do it, to more profit than lending it at £6%. I have no inclination, however, to fall into those practices. Therefore, after this explanation of my ideas, go on and purchase as far as you have means, absolutely and conditionally afterwards, for the reasons given. Thank you, Papa. I had no conception that at this day my leases were so full of lives as would appear from your account of them. I wish my confidence in placing blank leases signed in the hands of Mr. Muse may not have been amused. I have not, to the best of my recollection, sanctioned more than the rental for lives of 2 leases, one to Mr. Aries and another to a person who was formerly an overseer to my brother John. The rest were formed for a term of years, which must have expired. I am, and C. Aries. On February 24th, Dandridge wrote on Trench Francis by direction of the President, offering him the position of Purveyor of Public Supplies, which office had been established by Congress February 23rd, 1795. Francis's name was submitted to the Senate February 24th, and he was confirmed February 24th. This is funny to me. Hold on. Real. Not some evil genius. No, sir. No, not at all. This is merely a loan for me to start a business. Papa. Oh man, you're crazy. Take a 5-minute break on this and ponder on that one. Papa, shall we play a game? I'm pursuing this. This is the thing about it. Like, I don't want to be famous, but this definitely is like a cancer cure. You know what I mean?
Future,
As I said that.
I've been wanting that
Thank
anyway.
you for bringing that up. I didn't even see that. Right up here. A cancer cure. The intentions here. I even said that too. So we already went through the business process. I mean, there's a lot to it, but I mean, it's really not that hard. But it's like that arc. Here's the thing. I'm basically like cutting in line, you know what I mean? But that's how it is. They're basically crowning me king. What's done about it, we'll see about it. He's also, for the argument's sake, we've mentioned in court, and I've mentioned it before, like the chase there. I don't really know what's going on. I brought up Edgar Allan Poe, and I think if you go, to his history there, he was basically a bum. They led him to the streets. You know what I mean? Which I definitely hope is not the case. But I mean, it's odd to me. I've pretty much done all that I could, and you've pretty much made it your effort. And we've already we've brought up our opinion here, and the opinion of the court, such forward. I don't know what else to tell you there. From a law perspective here, I think is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I do no wrong, you know what I mean? So I don't really know where you're coming from, especially with the ignorance. It's pretty simple. It's pretty heartbreaking for me, truly. Especially when you're making that effort to reach out. I don't know what else to tell you there.
Come on, Pom Pom Chan. We've got to fight. Trust me. I'm a special. You go low. I'll go
You know, they just kind of drop you off of the face of a cliff. I appreciate you, George. I'm definitely going to pursue this as far as I can go. I don't know what else I can do. I mean, they're pretty unapproachable. They're very unapproachable. Unless you pay that like $10,000 to sit down at that seat and eat that dinner with them, they're very unapproachable.
I don't know.
I appreciate you though. A cancer cure. Get the fields going here. I'm ready to go, dude. I'm ready to go tomorrow and get this shit going. Come up with like a plan. I mean, it's not hard when you get the money.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. My own personal opinion here. I appreciate you, George. I'm going to continue this, though, after we finish this. I'll continue more of this. We're running out of Bible, though. That's the thing. The Bible. I said I didn't want to finish it. I mean, there's so many books. And I had the library there. We can establish ourselves there. So I cannot hexproof this guy. This one, okay. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that at all. Okay.
I've got friends everywhere.
Good deck, though. I like it. Just kind of went off randomly. It worked. I need a flyer, though.
Stick to the shadows. Trust me. I'm a special.